Welcome to The Network, the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate the four areas of life that I like to call the funky four corners. I've had the opportunity to interview some of my favorite people with one goal in mind: to help the spiritual, physical, mental, and financial health of our people as we navigate this thing called life. Subscribe to The Network. You never know, you might need it.
All right. In the words of the great American poet Solange, don't touch my hair when it's the feelings I wear. This is The Network, the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate spiritually, physically, mentally, and financially. I'm your host, Prejean Hardiman, aka Happy Black Girl, sitting in for our regular host, Prejean, aka Coach PZ, aka Coach P, aka Medicare Mike. And today in the Funky Four podcast studios, we are joined by my friend and personal hairstylist, Devyn Calton. She is the founder of Lyles Styles, LLC. She is a textured hair care specialist committed to educating both professionals and consumers on caring for, styling, coloring, and truly honoring texture. People build a healthier relationship with their hair and a more positive perception of themselves. Devyn, I am honored to welcome you to the network.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes. And before we dive in, we want to give you an opportunity to give your flowers to someone while they can still smell them. That's something that we do here on the network. So who are you going to give your flowers to?
I have so many people to give flowers to, so I'm going to name just a few and generalize them. My parents being one, they've definitely supported me and put all of their efforts behind all my dreams and endeavors. All of my mentors and every level of my own personal and career growth. And then, of course, my family and friends. Like, everybody has been so supportive and helpful, whether that be coming to the salon, reposting my things, just like really seeing me grow from the ground up. So that's who I want to give my flowers to.
Yes, I love that. I love that. What role did the encouragement from all of your family and friends and even mentors play in you trusting your gift early on in your career and even before you decided like this was going to be your career?
I definitely feel like my support system has been amazing and just giving me the confidence to move forward. I think owning your own business is always something that's really scary to go out on. And so just having them there whenever I'm feeling scared or feeling nervous or unsure about myself and just giving me that reassurance has been like top tier.
Love that. And talking about you being an entrepreneur, so how important is mentorship in creative and entrepreneurial spaces, and especially in Black spaces for Black professionals?
So I think for me, mentorship is the reason why I'm where I'm at. I think that it's helped to guide me and direct me and help me to learn what I do want to like put my all into and things that I'm like, nah, that could kind of, that's not for me. I think in terms of even just growth, you go to cosmetology school, like as a hairstylist, I'll say, you go to cosmetology school and you really only learn the basics, you learn sanitation. But when it comes to like being behind the chair and like those personal experiences and just navigating those waters, having mentors, I think is something like you really can't skip that process unless you just want this long, drawn out, real hard lessons along the way. I think a mentor is going to be the way to go. Or multiple
Love
mentors.
that. Yeah, I love that. So you guys, you heard her. We're giving flowers to our mentors. We're giving flowers to our family who've been there to support us, and the friends who continue to show up and support us too. So I love that. So of course, you specialize in textured hair and not just styling it. So, but educating people on how to care for it and how they see it and how they view themselves. So why was that important for you to take on? Like, not just like you said, even when you went to school, you're not really learning behind the chair, right? So, why was that mission specifically important for you to take on as a hairstylist?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. But I think hair, when I think of it, is so tied to your identity. And I know for me personally, and maybe not for everybody, right? But I know for me, it was very personal. I didn't always have a positive relationship with my hair. And when I really dove into it, I think it was rooted in like a lack of self-esteem. And so just wanting to be something that I wasn't. And so when I really embraced my natural hair, I felt like I really was able to accept myself more, love myself, and I empowered myself and freed myself from whatever holds that either whatever it be. For me, it was I wanted to have straight hair. I didn't want to have big curly hair. And so being in that mind of wanting to fit in was something that was like very freeing for me. So, and I realized like other little girls and other women, that's, that's the core group. It's not just women, right? But the core group of who I service is women and little girls and even young boys and things like that. And just giving them confidence in their hair, knowing that they're beautiful. And I think in our communities, the lack of love and understanding of our hair has been passed down for generations. So that's my goal, is to kind of just like put that back into our community so that we can love ourselves, we can be empowered by ourselves, and we don't feel like held to our hair. Being in bondage to our hair is like not cool.
Yeah, I love that you said that because it made me think about, so whenever I was thinking of a quote, to give at the beginning, I initially thought about India Arie and how she says, I am not my hair. But on the other hand, like you said in the beginning, our hair is it's tied up in our identity in a lot of ways, especially as Black women. And so that makes me want to ask you, like, what misconceptions about textured hair do you still see showing up in salons or just in everyday life, even from, stories that you may hear from clients and things like that, or even maybe in the spaces that where you teach, because you also teach. So
I think on the client aspect, I'll talk about client aspect first. I think the main things that I see is just really a disconnect with your hair not matching your personality or your lifestyle, right? And not loving your hair, really rejecting it and wanting it to do things that it doesn't naturally do. Feeling like the hair is dry, it's unmanageable, it's untamable, it doesn't do what it is that I want it to do. There's always this like a negative relationship that I hear a lot of. And I know from the professional aspect, it's like you can sit a client in your chair and ask them the things that they hate about their hair. But when you ask, what do you love about your hair? It really kind of stumps a lot of people because they're so caught up in the things that they hate about it that it's hard for them to find the things that they actually truly do love about it. So just kind of changing the narrative, but also I think in the professional aspect, it's a lot of misunderstanding. I think I could say career-wise and in my personal experience, like I've always seen salons in like two different, you have your Black cultural salons that service textured hair, and then you have your non-Black cultural salons that service mainly straight hair. When I go into those salons that don't really service a lot of textured hair, it's a lot of fear around what if I mess it up? What if I ruin it? I don't know how to detangle it. I don't know how to, style it. And I'm scared that that person is going to judge me or, what are they thinking? Do they think I don't know what I'm doing? So just a lot of unknowns in those spaces when it comes to textured hair in general. And I really want to debunk a lot of that because it doesn't have to be that hard, that, unmanageable. Like textured hair really can be manageable at any texture,
Yes.
not just the lower textures. It could be manageable at the higher textures. Your process just might look different. So just kind of, I think knowledge is power for me. So the more that you know about it, I think that really takes the fear away, so
Yes.
I've noticed.
So true. I was going to follow up with a question about how, hair education connects to confidence and identity and self-worth, but I think you kind of answered that. It's like you said, the more that you know, the more you're able to feel confident. And that, I believe, is on the client side and on the hairstylist side, and this, I'm sure you'll get into this, but it's making me think about your guide, right? This guide that you created, and, educating us and teaching us how to deal with our hair. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about this guide that you created?
Oh my gosh. So this
It's been a
guide,
long time coming.
yes, it has been a long time coming. This guide has literally been in the works probably since 2017. And I've just kind of been sitting on it, collecting all the information, but just kind of too scared to put it out there. And so this year I had a lot of encouragement and a lot of support. I'm in a accountability group that one of my clients started as part of her business. And she's really just helped me to not be afraid to put it out there.
I love that.
This guide is really founded in education and feeling like I want to give back to textured guests, right? I want you to be able to come into the salon and the salon be a luxury experience. A salon appointment be a choice, something that you want to do, something that you're willing to do, or something that you need professional expertise for. So whether it's cuts or a professional treatment or a professional color or any kind of professional chemical services, really empowering the stylist in that way by giving the client information on how do I actually just take care of my hair as far as growing it. I talk a lot about different things that come into play with hair retention, length retention, not hair retention, but length retention, and ways to help grow your hair, some things that you can do to help style your hair and how to style it and or how to preserve it and maintain it in different styles, whether that be protective, twisted out, silk press, wash and go, things like that. I put some affirmations in there, a checklist is in there, how to figure out where your hair lies, some simple guides on regimens, so some quick things that you can do to keep a consistent regimen with your hair. What else is in there? Lee, you purchased it, okay?
Yes, I sure did. Yes.
How to choose products. I think all of the things that I could think of when it came to hair and what really hinders a lot of my clients from taking care of their hair and what they had a lot of fears about, feeling like they're really alone at home doing their hair. And so it's the guide is there to be a quick reference for you so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to go and schedule an appointment just to keep my hair on my head. You can go to the salon for it to be a luxury experience, which is where that value is placed at, not just taking care of your hair, which would be for anybody, right? Anybody should be able to take care of their hair and have it long and luscious and all the things. So, and I will say that those things that I placed in the guide are things that I had to actually do myself. So for the past 2 years, I have been having a consistent regimen with my hair. I have been choosing styles and preserving them and maintaining them. I have been, changing my diet, trimming my ends, things like that have helped to help me to maintain my length retention, which is something I never thought that I would have. I mean, me and my mom joke about it. My mom's hair is literally down to her butt, but I've always had shoulder length hair. My hair has never grown past my shoulders. It was okay, I guess this is just where it caps out. And so now that my hair is almost down to my waist, stretched out, I'm oh my gosh, this has been a lifelong goal of mine. So.
So when you When you say, sorry, diet, what do you mean by that? And I do want to say that in the year when we were at Bree's baby shower and you like took your hair down, I don't know, it was like kind of pulled up before and you took it down and I was like,
Wait a minute.
your hair, and it was down your back. And so you were like, yeah. You know, tell me more about that. What have you been doing? What did you cut out? What did you add in?
I think mainly just drinking a lot of water. I think being hydrated is really important. Our hair grows from the cellular level. So if you are not feeding your body things that are going to be able to get to your bloodstream, get to the follicles, it's not really going to fuel your hair for growth, right? That body, if it's already in a scarcity mode, it's going to send all of those nutrients elsewhere. It's not going to send it to your hair. Your body doesn't think the hair is that important, right? So we want it to have enough for the hair to be a priority. So drinking a lot of water, taking vitamins, having a balanced-ish diet, right? So all of those things that we should be doing already just also benefit the hair. So I don't think it's necessarily anything that I've eaten in particular. I think I read somewhere on TikTok, Instagram, somebody told me, I don't know where I found it, but it was just like keeping things in rotation, eating the fruit in the season. So that way you're not just eating the same fruits all the time, but you're like getting balanced nutrients from like different food groups and families and things like that. So those things have just changed my overall health in general. So, and it's benefited my hair. So
I love that. So really just getting all your nutrients through the food that you eat, right?
yeah,
That's what I'm hearing. So I love that. So no fried chicken, right? No two
all the time.
fries. No. Right, but that's not what's going to grow your hair waist length if you want waist length hair though. So no, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm definitely a testament to the luxury experience. And I think what makes it even more luxury, like you were saying, of course, everybody should be able to go and have this choice of having this luxury experience. But I love that you go to your salon and you provide this luxury experience, and then you also allow your clients to leave, with the education too. So it's not like, of course you have your reoccurring
Yeah.
do my hair and that's it, right? Of course you have those clients who come, every other week or monthly or, whatever, coming back. But for those that don't, that you see every once in a while, right? You're letting us leave with the education too, and making sure that we also are still able to give ourselves this luxury experience, right? Because like you're saying, we need to be able to be confident, even outside of that. And education is what's going to give us this confidence. So I absolutely love that. One thing, just going to speak from your guide, and then I'm going to let you tell us, where we can buy it. One thing in your guide that I really loved is how porosity test, right? Because I know, and you also explain that too, like, what does that even mean, right? So, and then that allows you to figure out what kind of hair products are best to use for my hair, right? So once you are doing that, so this guide is not just like, okay, this is how you do a 2-strand twist, or this is just, these are products that I'm just recommending. It's like, no, actually perform this test on your hair, and then based on these results, this is what you should do, right? So that's absolute luxury to me. That's real luxury, that education that you're leaving us with too. So absolutely.
Yes.
Where exactly we can buy this guide?
So you can buy the guide at lylesstyles.com, which is LYLESSTY. There we go, right there on the screen, lylesstyles.com. And it's going to have options for you to book if you'd like to book an in-salon appointment, or if you would like to purchase the guide, or if you wanted to request a virtual consultation where we can just kind of like really dissect it. So once you've gotten the guide and you've read through it and you still might need a little bit of help one-on-one, you can book a consultation, especially if you're far, right? So, and we can kind of go through the different aspects. Maybe lifestyle is a factor or a hindrance on like helping to get a consistent regimen and consistent results and things like that. So yes, ma'am.
Yes, you guys heard her, lylesstyles.com. Okay. So we're going to take a quick pause for a second, just to promote what we have going on here at the network. So if this conversation is feeding you, help us feed the community. The network exists to help us navigate life mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially together collectively. So like, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on IG at podcast_with_Prejean. You can see it down at the bottom, and check the show notes and stay connected with us beyond this episode. This isn't just a podcast, it's a community. So let's keep building it. All right, Devyn. So there is one more question that I want to ask you in regards to, you starting out and where you are now. Now you have your own salon, Lyles Styles. But before there was Lyles Styles, you worked in a salon, other stylists as well. So tell us more about those beginnings and how you started and where you are now, and what are some things that you've learned along the way in this journey of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I started, I'll start from the very beginning. Me just graduating from high school, right? And I wanted to go to university first, so I did that. And then I always had this dream of like, I asked myself some questions in high school of like, what could I see myself doing? And the main things that I asked was like, I don't want to be sitting behind a desk every day. I want to be able to interact with different people daily. And I kind of want to do something that challenges me both creatively and logically. And so when I thought about those things and I thought about the things I was interested in, which was like music, teaching, and hair and makeup, hair seemed like the winning answer for a multitude of reasons along the journey that we don't have time for today. But in doing hair and going into cosmetology school, I was working full time once I finished in Dallas, and I am in a sorority. And so when I finished cosmetology school, I had a booming business right out. And so I was in a little suite that and I don't even want to say suite, it was more like a booth that I rented for a few months out of cosmetology school. And that was a very, very, I guess, I don't want to say naive thing for me to do, but I definitely was lost. I only knew what I knew from cosmetology school. And at that point, I don't have instructors to ask. The industry is can be, depending on who you talk to, can be a little closed off with people being very competitive, not wanting you to steal their clients, not wanting to like give you any open information, especially when you're on your own and they don't really know you. So even though I built very fast, I didn't feel very comfortable or confident in my craft. At that point, I didn't know what products I was using, all of those things. So fast forward, I moved to Houston and I'm like, oh, I built so fast in Dallas when I finished that I'm going to build the same way. And that was very humbling because I didn't know a lot of people in Houston and I didn't realize how spread out Houston was. And so I ended up at a small salon boutique, and I worked under another artist. His name is Umar Aldaha. He's amazing. Love him. And he taught me so much. And not only did he teach me a lot, but he gave me room to grow, right? So he gave me a space that allowed me to build my clientele, build my craft, and really look into other brands and get into education. And so that's what led me to Mizani, which I am now a artist for Mizani, which means I just go out and I educate other artists at other salons and things like that about Mizani, but not just Mizani, but texture. Mizani is a texture brand, and that was so in alignment with everything that I was and am doing now in my personal life, not personal life, in my career world, I guess, behind the chair. And so when I met so many other stylists and artists of all different years of experience in all different areas and states and locations, and just like the coming together of so many minds, it was exactly what I needed because it gave me that opportunity to ask questions that I was scouring the internet for. and just give me some people to help kind of ground me and guide me, and allowed me to also get a product that was giving me consistent results for different texture types. And so with that, I started Lyles Styles. I was in a salon boutique at a booth in this salon in Montrose. And once I started there, I really didn't stop. Once we closed that place, the owner closed in 2020, and that was the opportunity and the moment that I needed to start in my own suite. And I will tell you, I was so scared. I was crying. It was so stressful that week. And I think that's where I really my faith grew so much in that moment, because I was really stepping out on faith and stepping out and on myself, really, because I didn't have any backup plan. I didn't have anybody else to hold my hand and fall back on or take responsibility if everything didn't work out, but everything did work out. And I learned a lot there, just in terms of the industry, in terms of financing, in terms of even people that I could really count on. I think in those moments, it shows you who is really there to support you and who is really behind you in all of these. And not to say that anybody that wasn't there in those moments that I didn't call on isn't there, but it really helps me to identify those my core group. So yeah, there's just been many lessons along the way. And even now, the policies that have built over time, right? Because I am personally just somebody that is very understanding and go with the flow and all the things. And so when you combine that with business, and you have to have the structure of a business to know okay, this is actually not okay. And we can't stand for this, and I can't just blame it on the business as this is, the reason why we can't do this and you can't come in here with that, or I can't perform this on you. But just having the confidence to be able to say that on my own, that was a learning lesson in myself about how non-confrontational I actually am. And I thought I was confrontational my whole life, but I'm actually not. So learning those things, relationships with clients and stuff like that. So yeah, and just kind of really refining my vision. And I think at this point, it's become so clear that I know what I am open to and what I am not open to in a business aspect. So yeah.
Okay. Ooh, a little difficulty there.
I'm like, oh.
No, right? I was like, talking about, and really what I mean here too is loud and clear, was you're really talking about how spiritually you had been tested too, and it really grew your faith. And so I'm gonna allow that to kind of roll us. Oh, she's back.
Okay.
Lee's back now, but we're having some technical difficulties over here on this end. So she's back. We're going to edit all of this out, okay, before we actually post the episode on YouTube. But, all right, we're good.
Is it me?
No, no, it's on this side over here. All right, but yes, so like I was saying, we're gonna go right into the spiritual corner of the Funky Four Corners, because I heard you loud and clear, really talking about how this grew your faith. So one thing that you shared through your questionnaire is that connect God daily through prayer, meditation, and scripture really keeps you grounded. So, how has that spiritual discipline shaped your discernment, both personally and professionally?
So main question is how, like, because I mentioned my spiritual connection through this, I think it has helped me in obedience to, and I'll say it, the Holy Spirit. I am Christian, that's my belief. And I think in me connecting to God and understanding um, his love for us and things like that, and things that he places on us to do, I have been able to walk in obedience of the gifts that I was given. And I don't think that I was given that confidence until I really stepped out on my own and was like, okay, God, it's not in my strength, but it's in yours. And asking him. And then it's just, you start to see when you're in alignment, how things just open up so easily for you. And I don't say easily because it's like I was so stressed. But it's like through that experience and how I saw him come together for me, it has allowed me now to not be so stressed when I come into other situations. So in my personal life, because I've seen him come through for me in my career side of life and the purpose that he placed within me. So I took it upon myself because I really wanted to get to know God, get to know him more closely and build my relationship with him. But reading like a passage a day has really allowed me to understand and just like move through the Bible at my own pace. Because I was definitely I didn't grow up in church per se. So I didn't have this, long, deep rooted understanding of like what's in the Bible and things like that. Like I knew about God, I knew about his love for us, and I had been convicted and saved and all the things. But as far as like an actual like personal relationship with him, it was something that I decided to pursue. So yeah, definitely something I carry with me daily.
I love that. I love that. So, you kind of already said like what it actually looks like to let God lead you before you show up in your work. So I'll go to the next question because I love that you professionally, you saw the way that he allowed things to just bloom so beautifully for you. And so you just, you were, confident in him that he, in your personal life that he was going to do the same. So absolutely love that. And I will continue to say that I am a witness to all of these blessings and all of the beautiful things that have unfolded and bloomed in your life. So absolutely love that for you. And
Yes.
physical corner. So health, energy, well-being. Your body is your livelihood, right? What physical habits have you learned negotiable for longevity in your craft?
Oh my gosh. Stretching for sure. Definitely stretching and making an ergonomical workspace. Has been two things. So like I have the mats in the salons because I stand for long periods of time. And then just like the salon tools, investing in like salon tools and body positioning, like education and body positioning, because that's not something that a lot of people think of, but even how you hold your blow dryer or how you hold your flat iron and your combs and where you situate your arms and things like that. Just making sure that I'm working in a way that gives me longevity. And I'm setting up a space that also helps that. And then stretching because, oh my gosh, you should hear the way I just crack in the nighttime. It's like, it's really bad. So I've been really trying to focus on stretching. Our stylists are known for getting carpal tunnel in their wrists and stuff like that. And so just like really stretching my wrist and they're known for getting arthritis in either their knees or hands and fingers and things like that. And so just really trying to stretch and release any of that tension and stuff like that has definitely helped.
I love that. So is that something that in the classes that you teach when you're teaching other stylists, are you also talking about how to make their space, ergonomical as well, or like teaching those positionings for how to hold the blow dryer? Are you also teaching those things too?
Not always, like not directly, right? It's not
Yeah.
noticed anything that I've just super called out in my personal classes, but it's definitely something that's touched on. Like, you can hold your hand in this way, you can hold your blow dryer in this way, your flat iron like this, things like that, to help with not only like ergonomics, but also efficiency, right? So like one thing that stylists are known for is like we don't set our shears down when we're like cutting hair, or not setting our comb down all the time, but like having multiple things in our hands at once so that we're using our time efficiently. Um,
Yeah.
so definitely things like that have they get touched on, but I don't think it's like a segment of the class. It's like this is body positioning.
Right, right. But it's definitely having an impact.
Yeah, hair cutting classes is all about body positioning for textured hair, but I think as far as like styling, but I will add that in now that you bring that up. Gonna add that in.
Really out here changing lives. That's great. I feel like, I know people pay good money for these classes that you teach, but I know like just adding that into like changing lives, letting them know like that wellness part and how they can continue to take care of themselves. Yeah, great. And I'm over here thinking about, when you're like doing your own hair, it's like a wash day is like an arm workout. Like, so it's like, right.
Braids for like 3 years because of that. Like nothing simple as it could get. Okay.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to our mental corner. So emotional intelligence, mindset, mental health, and growth. So we didn't talk much about this, but the emotional weight that I'm sure comes with, that comes with being an empath in the salon. So, one thing before before me and my brother talked about me doing this episode with you, one thing that I touched on with him was like, old school salon, right? Is that like, when you went to go get your hair done, or even when you see on the movies now, it's,
Yeah.
you're hearing, women's stories, you're hearing
Yeah.
in their hearts out, so that emotional weight that comes with being an empath in the salon, the listening, supporting, and then holding space for others. How do you intentionally clear that emotional energy so you don't take it home with you?
I definitely feel like I clear that through just mindful exercises. So I have this thing where it's just like I envision myself just like releasing like all of the weight and all of everything that everybody's like may have talked to me about or shared with me that day and things like that. And then through prayer. So a lot of people do share that they're going through some really hard times or transitions in their lives and things like that. And so I pray for them at the end of the day. And I release that to God also so that, I want my clients to be well all the way around. And so I genuinely care for them. Like, I'm like, when they're crying, I'm crying. It's like, when they're
Yes.
happy, I'm happy. I'm like, so
Mhm.
just really doing that mindfully at the end of the night helps to release a lot of that emotional weight that comes with the job. But I
Oh,
love it.
I love that.
Those things, but I'm like, I genuinely love it. Like, I love it. Being able to like, you don't really talk to your clients on a daily, but you see them maybe like once a month or every, couple weeks. And it's like, oh, when you left, you were going to this event. How did it go? Let me see pictures. How did how did everything? Like, I want to hear all the stories. So I love that, you're just far enough out of reach to like, you hear this
Yes.
stuff, but it's like I can tell you because you're not really in my world for real, for real.
Right, right. Yes. And that's what's so special about this space that you've created,
Yeah,
right? You have women and young girls and even men, come into your salon, and young boys, come into your salon, and you just really create this safe space for them. And I just, to everybody that's listening, watching all of that, Devyn is doing more than just hair, y'all. Okay. She is covering folks in prayer. Okay. So
Yes.
somebody who was touching her hair, that's at the end of the day, I'm going to say a prayer for you.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Luxury experience. That's as luxury as it gets.
Exactly.
So, right. Yes. Okay. So what is, one thing, well, before we get to this, why is emotional hygiene just as important as physical or spiritual discipline? And I know you kind of touched on, this spiritual and mental they kind of intertwine in your life. It kind of sounds like,
Yeah.
why is that just as important as you stretching or, meditating in prayer at the beginning and end of the day?
So I read this book. It's called The Garden Within, and it really helped to expose the intertwining of your emotional world and how much that can impact you in the physical. And like things that I've seen, even like people that have like a lot of emotional weight or really stressed are usually like really tight, right? And so I have to release that because, especially because I'm in such a physical working space, and because of course, I'm getting new emotional lows daily. Being able to release that is really, really important for longevity in this career. So, and just overall well being, right? Like, I don't want to be this like sad or cranky person because of all of the weight, right? Because I still have my own personal life. I'm married, have kids, have family, have parents, grandparents, all the things of my own personal world that I check into after I leave the salon. So just making sure of those things has helped me to balance and give a level or degree of separation from the two, to make sure that I'm not being overwhelmed. And I think that was also a learning experience, right? From just being full time in this all the time. You hear about what comes with it when you're talking to mentors and things, but you don't really know until you experience it. So that's why.
Yeah, because you show up for people daily, but you also have people that you really need to show up for daily, and you need to be available. So yes, I love that. And I'm gonna second that book because you recommended it to me, and it absolutely changed my life. I've bought coffee for really changed my life. I literally was sitting in your salon chair when you
Yes.
recommended the book to me. So yep, absolutely love that, love that. So another question. What is one thing that's important for men to understand about the hair and the hair care of the women that, they love? So girlfriends, wives, sisters, mothers, grandmas. One thing you would say is important for the men in our lives to understand?
I think it's really important to give your woman in your life or women in your life, right? Whether it be daughters, sisters, brothers, whatever, right? Whatever it is, the freedom to grow with their hair. Okay, so I say that to say I have a lot of clients and women that come in and they don't feel free to explore with their hair or figure out what they like and don't like because they're afraid of judgment from the men in their life. And maybe even older women in their life, right? So it's not just for the men, but for the men, reiterating that they're beautiful with their hair in whatever state it may be, and waiting for an opportunity if you don't like it to express that, right? So if it's not something that you just love, instead of just like loading it or laying it on her, wait for an openness and to receive that, because sometimes we leave the salon and it's like you're leaving and this is the transition to where you want to be, right? You may have had to just cut off all your hair and you hate it really, but you want to know that you're still beautiful in the eyes of those men that are around you, even though maybe that's not where your value is placed. But it helps and it reiterates that, okay, I'm making the right choice and this is something that I have committed to and things like that. So I would say support and just flowers, love, confidence, just boost her up, okay? Boost her up.
Yes, I love that. Yes, grow with. them. I love that. Like you said, sometimes we're just figuring it out. So relax.
Give us a little.
Relax. Yes.
It's gonna get lonely again, okay? Just
Right. Or maybe it won't. Maybe this is what we like. So, right. Okay. So, no, I love that. Absolutely. Absolute great advice. Okay. So, we have covered our spiritual, physical, and mental, and that leaves us to the financial corner, right? So, being self employed means freedom, but it also means responsibility. So, what shifted for you when you realized that you had to prioritize retirement and an exit strategy early on?
This goes back to mentorship. When I was working with the previous stylist, Umar, that was one thing that he was really big in. He had already been in the industry for years, and he was like, you need to be thinking of this early. Start setting aside money early, because it's not like you're gonna get a 401k from some company, right? You're not gonna get that. So, and also talking to other stylists, right? Like my grandmother, who's 96, she has a stylist that she still goes to, and she tells me all the time, oh, my stylist is, driving the buses, and she's, still working at 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus, also doing clients to pay bills, also working other jobs to pay bills and things like that. And so creating an exit strategy early in my career was something that I really was like, oh, I don't want to be, at 60 plus with arthritis, and hopefully and prayerfully I don't have that, but the possibility is there, right? Like I want to be realistic as well. So just knowing that because this is such a physical job, that your body has limits. So making sure that I was setting myself up early for years down the road was something that I really want to make sure I prioritize.
Great. Okay. So with that being said, because I mean, I hate to hear about your grandma's stylist. That's like,
I know, but it's
but
so
also,
them. That's the
right. Yes. So eye-opening. Exactly. So with that being said, like, what financial blind spots do you see common among creatives and service professionals?
when you say blind spots, what do you mean?
So, like, what are some things that they may overlook? So, for example, with thinking about, thank God for Umar, because he's like telling you, hey, there's no 401k, like, right? So, without him telling, would you say that thinking about retirement is something, like you just said, that's common more than people realize?
I would say definitely healthcare, setting up aside, paying your healthcare monthly. That's an expense. If you're in business for yourself, right? If you're working for a salon, some of these things you can pay into and they're offered through the salon. But if you're an entrepreneur in a suite or thinking of going into a suite, your health insurance is going to be something, your retirement, your taxes, making sure that you're paying your taxes. You don't want the IRS coming for you later on because you haven't been paying your taxes correctly. Separating your personal from your business and like paying yourself out, even if it's not super official. But I think having your business money going into one account and then paying yourself out of that money to make sure you cover both expenses is like a really, really, important process as well. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, of course, you're going to have your overhead, your rent, your utilities, things like that, products, and replacing things that, big equipment that goes out and having to replace those things. It sometimes can be a financial blind spot. So savings, making sure that you're putting enough money away for savings, making sure that you are building credit for your business and not just personal credit, but making sure you're building business credit so that way when you're looking to grow and expand that you have some leeway to do that. So, and some options. So those are some things that I've definitely had to sort out for myself.
Yeah, I love that.
Business school. So that was like a little bit of a step. But, at the time that I went to business school, I didn't have this business, so everything was just like theoretical. But now it's like practical.
Right.
I like pull out old textbooks, like, hey, what did you say? Finance class.
Yeah, that's good though. That's great. So having that background, even though like you said, it was kind of just generic information and theoretical, like what if, or if I ever did, or, so that's good to know that everything that you've done, is leading you to exactly, where you are. And this, I'm not an entrepreneur. So there's some things that you were saying, and I was like, I literally have never even thought about that. Would have never thought about that. So that's great advice. I love that. All right, so now we are gonna roll right into our Funky Four game. All right, Devyn has given some great tidbits in all of the Funky Four corners. So now we're gonna get into the game, and no overthinking. So we're just gonna have some fun. Okay. So the first game, either or. So you're just gonna choose one. Okay. All right. So morning prayer or evening reflection.
Morning prayer.
Stretching daily or working out when you can.
Stretching daily. Because I ain't working out.
You're getting a workout in daily already. Quiet focus or creative chaos.
That I really don't know. I'm so in the middle with that because I love a little chaos. But I probably have to go with quiet focus.
Mm-hmm. Professionally, let's say professionally, quiet focus or creative chaos.
Yeah, quiet focus.
Yeah. Learning from mentors or learning through experience.
Learning through mentors, because I don't have to, I could do what you say. I don't have to do what you did.
Right.
I'm hard-headed, okay? I can learn by you telling me about it.
Yes, I love that. Yep. Natural texture or styled expression.
Ooh, natural texture.
Mm-hmm. Routine or flow.
Flow.
Listening first or speaking truth.
Listening first.
Next game, agree or disagree. Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down, or say agree or disagree. Okay, so the first one, your body is your most valuable business asset.
Agree.
And that aligns with all that you were talking about in our physical funky corner. Okay, spiritual discipline makes decision making clearer.
Agree.
Creatives need emotional boundaries just as much as empathy.
Agree.
It requires more financial discipline than a 9 to 5.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna say agree, but I've been in both spaces, so I feel like depends on what your goal is. But I think for me, I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you too, and I've never been self-employed, just for the simple fact that you were talking about things that I've never had to think about. So yeah, you can't show up fully for others if you don't reset daily.
Agree.
Education changes. Sorry, say it again.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Education changes how people see themselves.
Agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peace is a form of success.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love those answers. Okay. Say some words, and you're going to say the first word or.
Wait, what'd you say?
Did you hear me? Okay. So I'm going to say some words, and then you're going to say, well, I'm going to say one word at a time. And then you're going to tell me as well.
You're going to tell me I'm going to tell you what that word brings up for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Textured hair.
Love. I think it just means love to me. I love it.
I love that. Faith.
Faith is being grounded and aligned.
Client. Oh. Clients.
Relationship.
Self-care.
A necessity.
Retirement.
Too far.
Purpose.
Passion.
Legacy.
Generational wealth and knowledge.
Love that. Love that. Yay. Loved all those answers. I got some good little tidbits just from you, saying all that. Me saying clients and then you just saying relationship. I just love that already because you're also in a business of, this is you're servicing people, right? This is you not just servicing hair, right? But building relationships too and taking care of these people. So I absolutely love that. All right. And that rolls us into good medicine. And this segment is all about for our audience. So what is something, some good medicine that you would prescribe for our audience that has been life-changing for you?
I'd say some good medicine is a good message can come from anywhere. And I just say that to say there's a certain level of openness that I walk around with in my day-to-day life, right? I never want to discount where God is speaking to me through, just because of it looking like I wouldn't want it to look or don't think it should look. So whether that's somebody that I talk to or somebody younger than me, somebody older than me, somebody in a whole nother industry and career, I think that I never want to discount a good message because of the sender, right? And it doesn't have to just be a person. It could be a thing. It could be a source. Yeah, that's my good medicine.
I love that. So a good message can come from anyone and anywhere. So based on that good medicine, why do you think discernment and not dismissal, but discernment is such a critical life skill right now?
Man, I think discernment it keeps you in a place of peace. I think discernment really helps you to be in alignment with the things that are going to serve you and serve the people that you interact with on a day-to-day. Because there's a lot of things that you feel like that nudge and you're like, man, I should have just never did that, or I should have just went ahead and done that, right? And I feel like those are the moments where you may not lean into the discernment. So I definitely think that in every choice, right, we make tons of choices daily, whether it's go left, go right, go here, go there, do this first, don't do this first, whatever it could be. We make so many decisions in a day, and having discernment and knowing what's going to be best for you in the long run is super important. So.
Yes, love that. Love that, love that, love that. Yeah, it's good. Good medicine, Devyn. Okay. So we all need it. So what's the unsolicited advice you want to leave our listeners with today?
Didn't ask,
but wake up each day with the assumption that today is going to be better than any other day, right? So when you're on the freeway, just let that person pass you. It's really going to be okay. We want to spread love and not hate, okay? So if you don't like getting up that early in the morning, maybe there's some other decisions you can make. But always waking up every day with a fresh start, fresh mind, fresh heart, and going into that day with positivity, I think can really alter your experience. So that is my unsolicited, you didn't ask for it advice.
Yes, love that. Thank you. You heard her. Wake up every single day with a positive attitude, with a new start. Today's going to be better than the day it was before. So wake up with that. Love that. So before we close, Devyn, let the folks know where we can do your work.
So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at lyles.styles. You can also visit my website, www.lylesstyles.com, and find out more about me. So yeah, there's that. That's where you can find me. You can book through those sites as well. So if you're interested in actually booking an appointment or booking a consultation, you can, message me, DM me, hit me up. We'll go from there.
Awesome. So you heard her, www.lylestyles.com, and on IG and TikTok, she's Lyles at lyles.styles. You can see lots of her work, all the things that she's done, the things that she's currently doing. Like she said, book a consultation. You don't know what you want to do? That's okay. She'll even get on there virtually with you. So great. And also not just for clients, right? So when they go to your website or your IG or TikTok, can they see how to style or cut textured hair? Can they connect with you through the
yeah, if they're looking to, and you said that was for classes.
Yeah, yes. If there's other stylists who are looking for you in that aspect.
Yeah, capacity, yeah, for sure. You can definitely reach out to me. You can either email me or DM me on any of those sites. And we can look into which avenue of a class that you would like. If it's going to be with a brand, there's a process for that. If it's going to be personal, there's a process for that. So whichever you're looking for, I can kind of guide you based off what you want.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
People, clients, and other hairstylists alike. I absolutely love it. So YouTube family, hit like, subscribe, and smash the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow this community. Follow us on IG and check the show notes for the good medicine that Devyn just left and the advice you didn't ask for, but we gave it to you anyway. You don't want to miss it because it was This is the network, your spot for elevating mind, body, spirit, and finances as we navigate life together. Subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it. I am Happy Black Girl, aka Lee Prejean Hardiman. Thank you. Filling in for Coach Peasy, Mike Prejean. And thank you so much, Devyn, for being here. Until next time, y'all make love the culture.
Thank you.